alien spacecraft did not crash in Roswell, New Mexico in 1947.
You know flat earthers, I guarantee it. But you don't know who they are because they're afraid of talking about it.
This is not a test. This is your emergency broadcast system.
Hello, and welcome to the second ever Subliminal Deception podcast. I'm Cody, and I'm joined by my co-host, Phil. How are you, buddy?
You know, I'm doing all right, all things considered.
That sounds ominous. What do you mean?
Well, you know, my car needs about $2,300 in repairs, and I'm starting to suspect maybe New World Order could be the Illuminati. I won't
put it past them.
Yeah, it's just crazy. I mean, my car's been acting a little funny for the last few months, but I just think it could be something, you know. Just the bad guys coming after me. All the Google searches I've been doing. This weird shit.
I wouldn't put it past the Illuminati to own Pontiac, and they are secretly fucking with the car. You have a Pontiac, don't you?
I do. This is in the making. That's why they quit making Pontiacs a few years ago. They're just, they saw me coming.
We were onto them. We knew they were ran by the Illuminati, and they got rid of it. It had nothing
as soon
to
as
do
I
with...
started Googling stuff, mouse stopped working too. Mouse barely works now.
We got to be careful with this podcast, apparently.
Yeah, how have you been doing?
Ooh, I think the NWO has been getting me as well because I'm from Minnesota, obviously, and I have came down with a cold this week. Now, I could blame it on them, but more than likely it's probably due to the fact that we went from snowing at 30 degrees 2 weeks ago, and now today was 62 degrees, and a lot of people are sick right now, so...
Yeah, I can imagine. It's allergy season here, too, so everyone's sniffling and sneezing and coughing up a storm.
Now, this made me think, could it be a conspiracy that Claritin releases a bunch of pollen in the air to boost their sales of their allergen medicines?
I would not put it past them.
I don't trust any fucking pharmaceuticals, period. I don't trust any of them at all. So I won't put it past Claritin. Anyway, speaking of conspiracies, Phil, I hear you have one of the big boys for us today.
Yeah, starting out my writing episode debut with a pretty sizable conspiracy. Not if you believe this public policy poll. Now, have you ever heard of public policy polling?
No.
No, I didn't think so. They're pretty obscure. If you were a journalist, you might have heard of them. Back in 2013, apparently it was a slow politics week. So they asked Americans which conspiracy theory that they believed in most.
Okay.
So they asked, I'm not exactly sure what kind of poll that they used. I imagine I wasn't asked, so I'm pretty sure they didn't ask every single American. But basically, they figured out that some 12 million Americans, which is 4% of the population at the time, believed that the world governments were controlled by reptilians.
Oh.
Have you ever heard of reptilians before?
Oh, of course I have. I don't know... the whole life story about them, but I've definitely heard of them before. You know what? Speaking for real quick here, the policy thing, I think now I do remember it because there's a policy that I seen where they're making calls about who is responsible for Hurricane Katrina. And they had the whole list of people there. And what do you think the number one answer was?
Oh, man. Well, I mean... Jeez. I'm not anti-Semitic, but I'm guessing that Jews were probably up there pretty high.
Close. Barack Obama, he was number one.
I suppose.
He wasn't even he was like the, governor of Delaware or something? I don't know. He wasn't even in power then.
He was probably like the city manager of Chicago. Or no, wait. Hurricane Katrina, what was that, 2004? Yeah. He was like a junior senator from Illinois.
It's his fault, apparently. That just goes to show you how crazy people are. Anyway, he might actually be a reptilian anyway, but continue on, Phil.
I will go into that. There's actually quite a few people. I've also heard that quite a few people wonder what Barack Obama was doing on the morning of 9/11. But some of the other, some of the big boys in the conspiracy theory poll were that JFK was killed by a conspiracy of more than just one killer.
Okay.
That was 51%. 160 million people believe in that.
That's probably like the granddaddy, though.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, 51% seems a little low to me because check that. I've met one person. It was a professor of mine. He happened to be teaching American conspiracy theories. I've met one person in my life who believes that JFK was only killed by one man.
And he was a conspiracy theory teacher.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, I suppose, and nobody really knows the truth. Well, some people probably do, but they're most likely dead at this point, I'd imagine, so.
Oh, yeah. I imagine a lot of the actors probably kicked the bucket within the first couple months after JFK was laid to rest. But next up for the big boys, 44% of Americans, 138 million, Bush intentionally misled on Iraq WMDs.
Okay.
Next up, Al Gore's favorite, global warming is a hoax.
Okay.
He's going to cry about this one.
I forgot about that one. Yeah, that one was probably a big one.
Yeah, that one's actually picking up a lot of steam now. 34%, 116 million Americans in 2013 believe that.
That's a lot.
Number 4 on the list, aliens exist.
Well, that should be obvious. Come on.
Yeah, 29%. Next up, New World Order, 28. So, what do you think about the rankings of those top 5? I mean, do you think that those are the big boys?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm kind of surprised 9/11 wasn't on there. But I guess kind of the Bush and the war thing kind of go hand in hand with that, but...
Yeah, 9/11 is on the list. They're just, it's just not as high up. I always heard that a quarter of Americans believe that, but it was actually much lower. So here's some of the 3 that actually beat out reptilians. Reptilians, I should say, were on the bottom of that list. So when I actually was trying to think of a good conspiracy to do for this week, I looked at that list. And even though reptilians was on the bottom of the list, I felt like there was a lot of meat on that steak. So here's the 3 that just beat out reptilians. Bin Laden is still alive. 6%, 18 million.
Okay.
One that I thought would come up higher, airplane contrails are sinister chemicals. 5%.
I can honestly say that's probably one of my least believable ones, but that's mainly because of the crazy man I used to work with who used to sit and take pictures of fucking airplanes flying over, like, literally all day long. He'd be like, hey, come over here, man. Look at that. Why are they spraying right here, man? They're trying to get us, man. Like, he'd do this all day. And then I think he got back on his medication and he calmed down a little bit. That's no joke, too. That is no joke either.
Yeah, anyone that I meet who believes in chemtrails from contrails, I just kind of walk away from that person. I'm like, I love talking about conspiracy, don't get me wrong. But if you talk about chemtrails, I'm just like, I back off. I'm just, okay, I got to go do something right now.
You know what I was thinking? So when I was thinking about how you and I kind of view conspiracies, I think we have a very cynical view on most of them, but they're fun to talk about. Would you agree?
Oh, yeah, I definitely agree.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. And rounding out the bottom, just above reptilians, is Paul McCarthy died in 1966.
Okay, all right.
If you don't know about this conspiracy, it's pretty well unknown in America, really. It's called Paul is Dead conspiracy, or Paul. It's what they called fake Paul. It claims that Paul McCartney died in a motor car accident on the M1. It was after he had gotten in an argument with the Beatles. And apparently, the way that they replaced him was they held a Paul McCartney lookalike contest and then had a series of surgeries to make him look even more like Paul McCartney.
Oh, boy. You know what? Actually, speaking of the Beatles, I swear I just heard one recently that was like, the Beatles weren't actually British. They were like a from the South and they just pretended like they were British or something. It was just, I'm like, where do you get this shit from? Like, they look British. Come on.
Yeah, I'm 100% sure they're British. I don't... I've never actually met any of them, but I'm going to put my money on British.
Yeah.
Considering everyone, their families lived in England and
sometimes
they had that English accent,
Sometimes we just have to remember, people, common sense sometimes prevails, okay?
Yeah. So here's these ones weren't in the top or the bottom, but some of the ones that are my favorite. And actually, it's weird that you mentioned Clarendon because one of my favorites is medical industry invents diseases. 15%, 47 million.
Now, what year was this poll taken? Because I feel like this would be a higher one right now.
2013. Have you ever heard of restless leg syndrome?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that one was definitely invented by the pharmaceutical industry. I've never heard of anyone having that syndrome until the medication came out for it.
I'm not gonna, if someone does have it, we're not blasting you, but I feel like it could be just people being restless in bed, but.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, sometimes it seems like they invent the medication for things before the diseases.
Yeah, that could be.
But yeah, the Clarendon putting pollen out in the air, that's a possibility.
You know what they say, allergies intensify every single year, so I don't know if I have allergies or if I have a cold. I think it's a cold, but everyone always says allergies just keep getting worse and worse for no fucking reason.
Yeah, I'm lucky. I don't really have allergies, so...
It's that Frenchman blood you have.
Yeah, I'm not French, but it is the French blood that helps.
Well, your first name's Philip. Come on, just pretend you're French.
Yeah,
you love baguettes and everything.
So, the last one I'm going to mention before I go into reptilians is actually CIA developed crack. 14%, 43 million.
Okay. All right. This one is easily, you could attach the strings because you have Bush Sr. was obviously the leader of the CIA for a long time, and then he had a big anti-drug movement, so...
Yep, and he was part of the Reagan administration, which is known for just say no.
Right. Well,
Nancy Reagan.
You know what, I hate to burst everyone's bubble, but I'm pretty sure drug dealers just found out how to make more money off of cocaine, but just saying. Yeah.
So what I should say, too, is once again, I'm not sure how they gathered this information. There's a margin of error of 2.8%. So
okay,
basically take all of those and 2.8%. But I feel like the numbers are pretty good for what you would imagine. Aliens exist and JFK, I do feel are a little low. So
yeah. If we're splitting hairs here, technically you could maybe put reptilians and aliens in the same category, kind of.
I think that it's more reptilians run the world and the fact that aliens exist. So I feel like it's too...
Okay, I see what you're saying.
And not all, I'm going to get into this later, I don't want to spoil anything, but not all reptilians are considered to be from outer space.
Okay.
Some theories actually place them on Earth before humans. So
I've heard this before. I can't wait to hear the info you're going to give us, or the truth, I should say.
It's truth. The truth's going to hit you right in the face.
We speak only in absolutes on this show, okay?
That's right. Except for when I say supposedly. That's
I'm just going to censor that, okay?
All right, just bleep every time I say allegedly or supposedly. Just bleep that out. All right, so let's get started.
Let's do it.
So the reptilian theory first became popular only in 1998 after a man named David Icke published his book, The Biggest Secret, which remains popular to this day.
I know this guy. He is kind of crazy a little bit.
Oh, yeah. He's super... He actually used to be a legit BBC sports broadcaster, but he went off the fucking rails and found his calling. This is according to davidicke.com, the bookstore section of davidicke.com.
Okay, perfect.
David Icke's most powerful and explosive book so far includes the astonishing background to the murder of Diana, Princess of Wales. Every man, woman, and child on the planet is affected by the stunning information that Ike exposes. He reveals in documented detail how the same interconnecting bloodlines have controlled the planet for thousands of years. All of this and more in David's most explosive book yet, $15.99.
Okay, it's a bargain. That's a bargain.
That is, for a 20-year-old book, that's actually quite expensive, but yeah.
I know. Actually, you know what's funny? I don't want to sidetrack too much here, but you remember the Amityville Horror, correct?
Yeah, the movie.
Right. So I've been for the other podcast, I've been looking into the whole story of it, and obviously the book was a big deal, right?
Yes.
To get like a old this book is made in like the 80s, and to get like the original copy of it, it's like $80. It's fucking ridiculous.
Would that be like a first edition?
It could be. It's just
okay.
It's just like, I don't know. I guess I know books hold their value, but sometimes it seems a little ridiculous.
First editions are really expensive, actually.
Well, I
wouldn't doubt. Yeah.
I don't know if it's a first edition. I'm just saying, like, even to get a reproduction of, say, the paperback version of that book, it's still like $20.
Oh, okay. You're saying that in general, the book is expensive.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Could that be because of the popularity of the movie?
Could be. Who knows? I don't know the book market. Anyway, continue with Mr. Eichen.
All right. Well, this is according to Wikipedia. David Icke is a professional conspiracy theorist. He believes that an alternate dimension of reptilian beings called the Archons have hijacked the Earth, and that genetically modified human reptilian hybrid race of shapeshifters, also known as the Illuminati or the Elite, manipulate global events to keep humans in constant fear so that the Archons can feed off the negative energy that this creates.
Right. You're right. They love to eat the essence of human emotions or whatever, the soul, right?
Oh, yeah. The fear that everything creates. So they must be feasting right now. They're probably no danger to us because I bet they're about 1,000 pounds. All of the anger that's portrayed right now.
I was trying to think if the Reptilians got on that show that Urkel did on Sci-Fi where they scared people in pranks. Do you remember that show?
I do remember that show. I don't know what it's called, but yeah, I remember it.
That could have been made by Reptilians. I won't put it past them.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Anyway, go ahead.
They could have been behind Family Matters too. Who knows?
Well, technically Urkel does shapeshift. He goes from Urkel to true. Stefan. That's a reptilian. Maybe that's a reptilian machine thing.
Yep, they could be just giving us little breadcrumbs. Who knows? Okay, so David Icke claims that many prominent figures belong to the race of hybrids and are propelling humanity towards a new world order, a sort of post-truth era in which freedom of speech has completely ended. So since the publishing of the book, the conspiracy has grown, obviously. Like all conspiracies gain a life of themselves, just like the JFK and aliens and 9/11.
Right. So now you said he calls them Archons. I've also heard him been called Draconians before. Did you see that?
Yes. So that's one of the places that they could be from.
Oh, okay.
Basically, there's a few places that they're from.
Okay. But most likely
I'm going to go into a little bit more later on.
Okay. All right. So they're not just from like Pittsburgh.
No, I mean they're centrally located in Pittsburgh and Cleveland, but the other possible locations are that they've been underground the entire time, that they're from the planet Nibiru, which orbits another. I believe Nibiru orbits a sister sun to our own sun.
Right. They think I think if I remember right, Nibiru. They think either. Yeah, like it rotates with our sun or it rotates our galaxy or something like that. But it's so dark we can't see it.
Yeah, supposedly it's like a brown star, so it doesn't emit light. So that's how we don't see it. But somehow it's almost as if like it comes into orbit with our sun. Nibiru becomes close enough to affect our tides, which supposedly caused the Great Flood. The Noah flood.
Oh, okay. So the reptilians have been harassing us for quite a long time.
Yeah, supposedly these race of aliens visit Earth every time Nibiru comes around. Supposedly they make their presence known more.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So if they're making a resurgence right now, like since 1998 or whatever, does that mean that the planet technically could be getting closer?
Well, in 2000, the theory was that with the Mayan calendar running out in 2012, everyone thought that Nibiru was about to come into the solar system and destroy everything. But obviously that didn't happen.
You know what?
So,
You want to hear something creepy? So I'm pretty sure I work with a bunch of crazy conspiracy people because I remember, what was it, like 12? Is that what it was? Or 12/21/12, that's what it was. The date of the Mayan calendar or whatever. Anyway, we came in that day, of course, nobody's dead, and this crazy guy says that he was expecting to be incinerated and on his way to heaven with his family.
really?
No joke. It's kind of scary a little bit to have that kind of a thought pattern, but I'm glad nothing happened.
You know, I mean, I realize there's a little bit of foresight here, but you should have really tested his resolve and tried to get him to give you all of his possessions to see if he actually believed that this was happening. Like, put your chips down, you know.
I'm scared of him. I'm scared of him. I'm not going to fuck with him.
Oh, okay. Well, so he's one of those.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he let me know on another conspiracy that I think we're going to cover at some point where Star Wars was actually a prophecy about what's happening in the future.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty nutty. We'll save that for another time.
Nice. I might have to look into that. That's pretty fun. I love Star Wars, so. So basically, what I was getting into this conspiracy about shape-shifting aliens or reptilians. I'm sorry, they are possibly aliens. That they have grown beyond what David Icke thought, and that many world famous and American famous business leaders, political leaders, and famous celebrities, entertainers, and the sort have also basically become these reptilian shapeshifters. Supposedly, anyone who has an ounce of power in the world can be considered an alien reptilian shapeshifter. As long as there's a picture of them on the internet.
Okay.
So,
all right. Yeah. Okay. So technically we could be reptilian shapeshifters.
that is true. We do have the one episode on. Oh, you have many episodes on.
Right.
So yeah.
I'm tricking my other audience that I am actually a reptilian man.
Yeah, that's a little scary. I could be talking to the enemy right now.
But I think more in terms of what you're speaking of is like Chef Ramsay or Emerald Lagasse or people like that.
Oh yeah, it's
everybody
the
on
world
Food
famous.
Network. Right. Okay.
Yeah, so the list of all of the supposed reptilians I found on the internet also came accompanied with pictures of shape-shifting evidence.
Oh, okay.
So,
all right.
So this was not the only list that I found. I found hundreds, and if I when I Google imaged, it's just massive. But so when these pictures were taken or video were taken, it supposedly revealed the reptilian behind the meat suit, and it usually includes
the fucking meat suit.
Their meat suit. I like word meat suit.
That is a good one. I do like that. Yeah, that's good.
But so this supposed evidence was the reveal of their true snake eyes, sharp and jagged teeth, or a very scaly reptile-like skin.
I think I've heard this. They actually claim that they have like two sets of eyes, right?
Yes.
Like they flip from human eyes to like cat lizard eyes or whatever.
Yeah, do you remember the movie Men in Black?
Oh yeah.
The first movie.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember when he was chasing down that alien and all of a sudden his eyes, the inside of his eyes kind of flip shut, the pupils?
Mm-hmm.
That's almost what these videos kind of look like. It looks like you can see the pupils flipping shut on some of these supposed shapeshifters.
I've actually went into a dark hole on YouTube looking at all of these videos where it's like the camera will be like zooming in on them, and then their face will start to distort really bad, and they claim that's their like meat suit fading to the lizard skin suit or something.
Yeah, so I didn't really get quite... Some people think that they get tired of holding one shape for too long, so it's almost like trying to hold your eyes open and eventually you have to blink.
Oh.
Some people also believe that possibly they're giving us an insight into their true form.
Okay.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's a lot of... With all conspiracies, it's basically, there's camps. So, just like with flat earthers and hollow earthers, there's a bunch of camps. So, but I'm going to go into a list right now of kind of the most prominent ones I've found.
Okay, fire away.
For world leaders, this is a David Icke special. His favorite is, first and foremost, the longtime Queen of the United Kingdom, Queen Elizabeth. She's possibly the most famous reptilian.
Okay.
And maybe the most powerful on Earth.
Whoa. Okay. Did it say what makes her so powerful? Is it all the hats?
It could be all the hats. No, it's basically just the fact that David Icke is English and she's the Queen of England.
Yep. Okay.
And, I mean, she's super old and super rich. But who knows? She could be a shape-shifting reptilian who's 1,000 years.
See, now, what I was going to say is you point out a good fact that, okay, David Icke's British, so he's blaming the Queen, just like in America, we're going to be blaming presidents and people we don't like.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you need someone to blame for your problems, the power elite is,
So
that's the perfect one to go into.
Okay, let's play the hypothetical game. So let's say the Queen is a reptilian. She laid eggs that became Princess Diana and Prince Harry, and I don't remember the other one's name. Now, or no, they're Diana's kids, right? Harry and...
Yeah, Diana's kids are Harry and William.
Okay, so then Diana laid more eggs, and then they came. Now, is Meghan Markle going to be in for a hell of a surprise, or is she a fucking reptilian too?
I mean, she's an American celebrity, so she could also be a reptilian.
Maybe that's why the Queen didn't... Maybe the Queen wasn't actually racist. She just didn't like her because she wasn't a reptilian.
Not a reptilian yet.
You can convert them. Okay.
I'll get into this later, but...
Hell yeah.
There are theories for this. So, I'm going to jump into other world leaders.
Okay.
That could possibly be reptilian. Now, these are all American. But, I mean, anyone... If you're a country or in a country that isn't America and you believe in this theory, you could say that perhaps Vladimir Putin, he was a popular Russian.
He's got a lizardy head, so...
He does look a little bit snake-like. Like, if that is a meat suit for a snake person, it's a bad meat suit.
He just got, like, the discount one.
Yeah, he got the low rent, maybe he wanted his to look scarier, because he's a scary dude.
Maybe
in that case, it's a perfect meat suit.
Okay, I got an even deeper theory. Maybe Russians, because they drink so much vodka, they have to get one that's, like, less flammable or something.
That is possible. I did not even think about that. All right, so some of the other world leaders from America include, we mentioned him before, Barack Hussein Obama, 44.
Yep.
Mitt Romney.
Whoa, Mormon lizards.
Yep, from Utah. Donald Trump. The entire Bush family. And of course, Bill and Hillary Clinton.
Basically the last fucking how many presidents?
Yep, basically, I mean, any president you want to say, you can, a reptilian, Mitt Romney's on that list also. He's a throw and he's not a president, but...
Now, I got two questions for you. So first, Mitt Romney, now, if he's a Mormon lizard, does he still have to, like, do all the Mormon rituals, you think? Like magic underwear?
I imagine he does.
Okay, so he has to play by their rules and everything.
Well, your meat suit, I assume, has to go out and do the same things to keep up the facade,
So he's got to ride his 10-speed around and try to convert people.
Well, he probably hasn't done that in years, but I think that's like the teenage Mormons who do that one.
The pilgrimage. I think that's what they call it, the pilgrimage.
Their pilgrimage. Yeah,
Now, Donald Trump. I literally heard this recently. Now, they think Donald... He actually is the anti-reptilian, where he came along to bring down the reptilians Like, he's a different class of alien that's fighting the reptilians.
Yeah, I'm guessing that was a pro-Trump person who wrote that little tidbit.
I would guess so, yes.
So I was going to mention this a little later, but one thing that I definitely noticed is that a supposed reptilian is always a member of the other political faction. And it's never someone's own party or person in power.
Well, you can't blame someone you like as a reptilian. That doesn't make any sense.
Of course, you're not going to vote for a shapeshifter.
No. Like, I'm not going to say... I don't know. Mike Tyson's a fucking reptilian. Like, I like Mike.
Yeah, I like Mike too. He might be a crocodile in true form, but
the way he bit that guy's ear, it's very animalistic, I'd say.
Yeah. So one interesting thing I was gonna say was the accompanying pictures. So all of these world leaders had accompanying pictures where their eyes turned to snake eyes, or their teeth turned jagged, or their skin was scaly or dismembered. But the picture of Hillary Clinton was just a picture of Hillary Clinton. It's pretty crazy. Just almost like they were saying Hillary Clinton's meat suit is just the reptilian.
Now, I hope every single one of these pictures had a little asterisk in the corner that said, "I promise this is not photoshopped."
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, and it was all done with just the highest definition. You know, no crappy old video that was basically uploaded on a bad computer. It was all just the best of the best.
You know, if there's something we know about the conspiracy theory community, no liars, no fib tellers. They don't exist. We're all about truth here.
Oh no, especially us two.
Never lied in my life, god damn it.
So some of the business tycoons, I said also some powerful CEOs and the such have basically also been accused of being powerful reptilians. Two of my favorites, first and foremost, Mark Zuckerberg.
Oh, okay. Now, if this is me personally, if I had to pick anybody in the entire world, it's him.
See, here's the thing about Mark Zuckerberg. After I watched his little, he was on the floor of the Senate answering questions about the internet to all those old people, telling them what their Wi-Fi password was and everything. I would say he's more of a robot.
You know what? That's a good thing.
Like a data robot.
Like a emotionless AI.
Definitely. He is an android that has missed a few upgrades. But
I don't like him. Even though I love Instagram, I do not like him.
Yeah, I mean, thanks for social media and everything, but maybe just hand it off to someone else who's a little less evil. Not trying to make $12 out of my fucking personal information. But so yeah, he is accused of being a reptilian, or at least part of the reptilian conspiracy.
Okay.
New World Order, Illuminati and such.
He's got
another one.
He's got a lot. We got to remember too, he's got access to a lot of fucking data.
Oh yeah, everyone's data. I mean, what percent of the world has a Facebook page?
A lot.
It's got to be in the 40s, 30s or 40s.
He's got every single whiny teenager's update on a big hard drive.
Oh yeah. So another guy is he's another favorite of the internet, Jeff Bezos.
Oh, okay. All right. Our Amazon boy.
Of course, CEO of Amazon. So I was up on Reddit, and Reddit has a really big debate raging whether Bezos looks more like a turtle or an uncircumcised penis. Now, personally, I think that he looks like a person's face growing out of the back of someone else's head, kind of like in Harry Potter.
Okay, yeah,
now,
yeah.
Have you seen Jeff Bezos?
Oh yeah, obviously. I was gonna say he kind of looks like Moby. Remember him?
Oh yeah, I do remember
that
him.
fucking
Actually,
90s singer.
90s. Funny story. So before I shipped out for that 4 years, my family took me to a comedy show, and they put me in the front row. And the comedian actually, her insult to me was, "What's up, Moby?" Apparently, I look like fucking Moby. Like,
poor Moby, he don't get no fucking respect.
Yeah, I know. He's a great singer, and apparently he looks like me, so he must be a good-looking guy. I mean,
I guess technically any white man with a shaved head can look like fucking Moby.
That's true. Yeah, she was probably just digging for it, but So many people claim, however, that Jeff Bezos is actually a reptilian and he's taking down the world's merchandising businesses.
Well, he's doing a pretty good job at it.
Yeah, excellent job. He wins Reptilian Shapeshifter Asshole of the Year, if that's the case, because he's killing it out there.
Even though I have like the ethical dilemma with Amazon where I love it because it has access to everything, but I know it's kind of bad to use it, but I'm not giving it up.
It's so easy.
I'm not giving it up.
Yeah, I'm not a member of Prime member, and I don't watch it on the for my television or anything like that, but I do order things from Amazon. So I am part of the problem. But
See,
fuck Walmart.
Oh, I totally agree. Fuck Walmart. See, the thing about Amazon, 99% of my purchases are books, and then I use it for Shudder, which is a streaming service that you use through Amazon Prime, which is fantastic if you love horror movies.
I've never heard of it.
It's like $4 a month, yeah. It's all horror movies.
Shudder with D's or T's?
D's.
Shudder with... Okay, I'll have to remember that. That sounds cool.
It's good.
But he's one of the businessmen. I mean, it really, right now, the big businesses are obviously computer. So Bill Gates is also claimed to be a reptilian. I forgot his name. He was just on Joe Rogan podcast. He had a really good one. CEO of Tesla.
Oh, Elon Musk.
Elon Musk. Yep. He's also claimed to be one. I'm just rattling off some of the other business. It was basically any internet tycoon you can think of was also on there. So,
well, you know what? If Bill Gates is a reptilian, he's a fairly nice reptilian.
Yeah, I mean, he did crush all of his competition and get taken down by the government. But yeah, in his old age, he has
that happens to everybody. Come on.
Yeah, I've had the government come after me for
yeah. Look at your fucking car. It's done.
Yeah, yeah. They got me in their fucking crosshairs. All right, so some of the famous celebrities, and let me just tell you, you cannot, if you Google image celebrity reptilians, there is no way. Like, it would have taken me 3 days to go through every single picture of a celebrity reptilian. There was a lot of them.
Basically, you don't like them, they're a fucking reptilian.
Oh, yeah. If you don't like them, they're a reptilian. If you like them too much, they're a reptilian. If they didn't write back from your fan fiction bullshit, they're a reptilian.
Yeah. That makes total sense. If Tony Danza doesn't write you back when you write him, he's totally a reptilian.
So some of the most famous, Tony Danza is such an obscure one to say. So some of the most famous ones, Oprah Winfrey, Martha Stewart, Jay-Z, and Beyonce.
Whoa.
Yep. Justin Bieber. They're also alleged members of the Illuminati.
Oh, God.
Justin Bieber, Paris Hilton, Miley Cyrus, Eminem, Britney Spears, Lady Gaga, and just a shit ton more.
I remember I heard, what the hell's that guy's name? Cumberbatch? What's his first name? He plays
Doctor Strange?
He plays Khan on the remake Star Trek. I think it's Edward Cumberbatch or something like that. Granted, he looks like a reptilian because he's really tall and has like a 8-foot neck and like a really horizontally long head. But I think he's just a good actor.
Yeah, he does look a little lanky. Kind of like a praying mantis, but he's a pretty good actor. So
I was trying to think of celebrities that I actually think kind of look like a reptilian. Rob Schneider, maybe. Who else do we got? It's a tough one.
That is a tough one. There's the guy who's on Saturday Night Live. He was dating Ariana Grande. I forgot what his name is.
I don't know. Did you know she's a witch?
I did not know
she claims she's a witch, and she has some cool stuff. Like I think she said she was either possessed by a demon or something, and she like expelled it. I don't know, she's kind of weird, but she is very attractive, I'll say that.
She's super. If you hear her impersonations of other singers, she's extremely talented too. Like, I wouldn't doubt she sold her soul for that kind of talent.
Well, her last name means grand, so come on.
Yeah, it's true. It's weird that you mentioned that she has this weird belief system that she sold her soul or that she was possessed. Because there's actually quite a bit of that in Hollywood. We could make a whole conspiracy show about that, about the celebrities who believe. I got into it a little bit, but it was kind of getting me off track. But there is a lot of crazy celebrities out there.
I could see it. All right, Phil, I think we get the idea of who these reptilians are and who the internet thinks they are, and they're basically just people you don't like. Now, if we're to believe they're true, where did they come from?
Okay, so the internet has a few different theories about where, if they're possibly reptilians, how the reptilians took control, or how someone becomes a famous person or a world leader in the first place.
Okay.
Now, this is if there's a conspiracy behind this is what I think is the most plausible.
Okay.
So first and foremost is that a person can only become famous if they're thought to make a correct impact at a young age.
Such as, like, being a member of the Disney Kids Club thing. A lot of celebrities came out of there.
Yes, correct. A lot, like Britney Spears.
Timberlake. Yep.
Timberlake, all of them. Yeah. Or there's a theory, too, for world leaders that if you go to the correct college and you get into the right club, if you're a family member, Skull and Bones,
Right.
then you can make an impact in the world politics, like theater. Then, like, you're propelled on this path. Basically, if you're just regular Joe Schmo who could be a great president, you're not going to make it because you didn't have the right connections at birth.
Okay. So now you're saying when they enter these, say, Skull and Crossbones, they're not a reptilian yet.
Well, no, this isn't really for the reptilians. This is just for how someone became famous. I just wanted to throw this in because this is the most plausible one I found.
Okay.
I just wanted to, it's not reptilian, but like when I saw it, it kind of clicked with me. Like if there is a conspiracy, it's this one. But like you were saying with Ariana Grande, how she seems to be like putting out little weird messages about herself. This theory is mixed in pretty heavily with manipulation and forced drug abuse of children.
Okay.
Ariana Grande is one of them. They have claims that she's possibly, on drugs. There's Amanda Bynes. After all the things that she went through, it was maybe 8 or 9 years ago. She had a meltdown. Just basically the child stardom turns these people crazy. It's because of they were put on this path and these adults, did horrible things to them.
Okay. All right. I think so you're saying basically they're not necessarily reptilians, but they are being, I don't know never mind.
Yeah, no, it's not exact. This theory is not exactly some kind of reptilian alien underground system. It's more just famous world leaders are grooming the next set of famous world leaders, or managers are trying to get their next big entertainers up and going.
Okay. So it'd be like
trying to get the next pop star.
It'd be like basically a metaphorical belief of along the lines of what people believe reptilians are, where they're constantly grooming the next batch for world domination or whatever.
Yeah, that's the basis of it.
Okay. I think I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So next up, this one is actually part of the reptilian, is that all of these people were part of a certain bloodline that spans the world and is in control of the power elite. And they're working through various secret organizations. So such as the Freemasons, Skull and Bones, Bilderbergs, and it's all centrally controlled by the reptilian.
Okay. Well, that would make sense for the Queen, I guess.
Yeah, they all have the same descendant bloodline from these reptilians that existed thousands of years ago.
So would that make their lineage a bunch of incest then, right?
Not really incest. It just all comes from the same tree.
Okay.
This is actually, if you look into it, it's kind of weird. There's an odd number.
Don't say, Phil.
There's an odd number of American presidents and politicians that are related to each other. Either presidents that you would never really think of. I mean, there's the obvious ones, but there's presidents that are third, fourth, and fifth cousins, many times removed. A really good example for this: James Madison, our 4th president, and Barack Obama, our 44th president, are third cousins 9 times removed.
How? Who the fuck figured that out?
Well, I mean, it's this genealogy.com wave that we're entering right now. Right. Apparently, it's through their common ancestor, Edwin Conway, and it's Barack Obama's mother.
Interesting. Okay. All right.
The line goes all the way up to Edwin Conway and then down to James Madison.
I was going to make a joke that like are Jimmy Carter and Andrew Jackson related, but I guess you did it for me.
Yeah, I'm not sure about Jimmy Carter.
No, I was just joking, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. If you look at that list, it is, I mean, the list pretty much goes through every president. At least most of them are related in some way or another.
I'm going to shoot a truth load out right now, and that Jimmy Carter is not a reptilian, but he is not human. Basically, how you make Jimmy Carter is when you spill the secret ooze from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on a can of Planters peanuts, then you get Jimmy Carter.
That's a possibility. Add in some... He's actually... he actually had a supposed alien, like, UFO experience.
Oh, yeah, I remember this, yeah.
He does cross into the story a little bit, but who knows? Okay, so I've got one more. Okay. This is the most crazy.
Okay.
This is that. So once a person becomes sufficiently famous or powerful enough, once they've moved up into the ranks of whatever their chosen field is, they are black bagged and taken to a secret facility where they are then either cloned or replaced with a shapeshifter. And then the alpha subject is murdered. Now, this explains a lot of the rapid shifts in behaviors of many of the most famous celebrities. Basically, a lot of the manic tendencies and increased promiscuity that comes along with, like, becoming famous. They think that this is what explains it. That they were actually a normal person who got replaced by a shapeshifter.
So I got the perfect examples for you. So we got OJ was replaced. He was not a violent man who clearly didn't commit domestic abuse on Nicole. He's replaced with a murderous reptilian. Who is the Al Roker? They replaced him with skinny Al Roker.
That's possible. I've always thought of that. He's way too nice too.
So like OJ, it clearly has nothing to do with repeated head injuries that are constantly ignored and that he's a violent person. And who's the other one I said?
Oh, Al Roker.
Oh, Al Roker, yeah.
The person who comes to mind for me is, it's got to be Britney Spears during that epic meltdown.
Oh, yeah.
It's Britney, bitch.
She's fucking badass for doing that. I don't care what anybody says. When you were talking about Amanda Bynes, I was going to be like, let's quote the famous internet celebrity, leave Britney alone, leave Amanda alone, okay? She's got mental problems. Let's leave her alone.
Yeah. Supposedly Amanda Bynes was on coke the entire time she was on All That. That's another conspiracy that I found on the internet. So you're once you travel down this dark hole, you're swimming. You're swimming in septic tank.
I think everybody realizes conspiracy theories. You go on one rabbit hole, then there's like 4 more holes. You go in one of those holes, there's like 16 more holes. It just never stops.
Oh, if you want a nice little exercise in futility, go to one of those conspiracy YouTube videos and put autoplay on and just let it roll. Oof.
See,
it's rough.
I will say the shitty internet videos, they are master hypnotists because, like I said, I watched that 4-minute reptilian video, then I couldn't quit watching those stupid videos because I'm like, guys, the camera's just going out of focus. They're not a fucking reptilian. God.
Whoa. Oh, easy, buddy.
Those are fighting words, I guess.
Them's fighting words.
Okay, so did you touch on the fact that, obviously we suspected Nibiru, right? Now, did you talk about the Hollow Earth thing?
Yeah, so Hollow Earth, it's not as much Hollow Earth in this theory as just these alien reptilians. Well, not alien reptilians. So the reptilians that lived underground before humans evolved have been there forever. And they kind of want to be left alone, but they also kind of want to run shit. So every once in a while they pop up and they either fuck up or they help people. I'm going to go into a little bit of it, but yeah, it's really interesting what people believe. Okay, I'm going to go right now into a little bit about the bloodline theory. So the term blue bloods, have you ever heard of that theory?
Not besides, I think, the 80s police TV show.
So blue bloods is like basically the European elite. They nickname them the blue bloods.
Okay.
Now, what people think they are mostly is the powerful elite families of Europe were all incestuous. And most famously is the Habsburgs of Spain, which ended with Charles II, who was so inbred that he could not produce children and was extremely ugly.
But
fun fact, what's that?
I was going to say, that technically is true, though, right?
Oh, no, this is true. About the blue bloods.
Okay.
It's true that they're incestuous. The fun fact about him, after his death, Charles II autopsy revealed that he had only one atrophied testicle, and he was almost certainly impotent by the time of his death.
Yeah, gotta quit fucking your relatives.
Yeah, that's how they got the power, though. You don't get kingship unless you join it up.
They got a little Lannister shit going on here.
So in humans, though, the red color of blood is caused by a high concentration of iron, which every human has in their blood, a healthy amount.
Right.
In an octopus, they actually have a high concentration of copper, which makes up their blood. It turns their blood blue. It helps them to live down in the deep sea, and it's called hemocyan.
Interesting.
Yeah, so they actually have blue blood. They think that the reptilians that were in power thousands of years ago and interbred with humans actually passed on this copper blood, which gave them the name blue bloods.
Oh, so would that mean that either reptilian or human would have had to have been having sex with an octopus?
No, not an octopus. It's their reptilian overlord.
Okay, all right.
The reptilian overlord took on a human wife and made a Nephilim.
Oh, okay, all right. You know what? Totally believable. So we just need to prick the queen and see if she bleeds blue.
Yeah, right before you get murdered by her security guards, you would be able to see for sure if she bleeds blue or not. So I would not recommend doing that.
So does this mean that Smurfs are possibly descendants of octopus?
It could be a sign. could be a ritual that's just shown on television to get kids ready. Who knows?
Oh, good point. There you go. That's a reptilian TV show. Now, you know what? I'm going to say this. I know we're joking a little bit, but the copper blood thing that turns it blue, that's really interesting. I've never heard that before, but that's really cool. Is that what their ink is that they shoot out?
I'm not exactly sure where the ink comes from. It's just really interesting. It was a whole article on where the blue blood Europeans came from. Supposedly they came from Mesopotamia region, the civilizations of Babylon and Sumer, and migrated to Europe and then mixed in with the European culture. And then obviously European kingdoms rose up after the fall of the Roman Empire.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, on the internet, anything makes perfect sense.
That's why we love the internet, okay?
Yeah, you don't know if it's written by a doctoral fucking genius or just some asshole in his basement with a lot of free time on his hands. Now
I'm thinking as if you quit eating iron and only eat copper if you can change the color of your blood.
No, actually, I read up on copper. If you do have too much copper in your blood, you will get some blue around your eyes, but it will not cause your blood to turn blue.
God damn.
If you had enough copper in your blood to turn your blood blue, then you would be dead.
Yeah, that's not good.
I was going to ask really quick. Have you ever heard of the Anunnaki?
It sounds familiar, but refresh my memory.
So the Anunnaki were the gods of the ancient civilization called the Sumerians in Mesopotamia.
Yep. They're the oldest.
Supposedly,
they're the oldest known civilization with writing, right?
Yes, cuneiform.
Yep. Okay.
So they rule. Supposedly, these gods, Anunnaki, ruled before the Great Flood, which is the Great Flood. Obviously, Noah's Ark. Many different oral and written histories from around that region.
Right.
Basically, there's this author, Zacharias. He's the author of Chariot of the Gods.
Okay.
So he created what's known as the ancient astronaut theory.
Right.
You see it a lot on the History Channel.
Yeah, I know. It's
Ancient Aliens.
The fat Swedish guy, right?
Yep. He is that fat Swedish guy. So he claims that an ancient race came to Earth from Nibiru, a planet orbiting the sun that interrupts the Earth every few thousand years. So Stitchin claims to have deciphered the Sumerian text, and he wrote that the Anunnaki had created humans through hybridization of their blood and the blood of ape-like females.
Okay. Does he say why he thinks they did that?
Well, he said that he deciphered all of these cuneiform texts from the Sumerians. That's where he gets all of his information from.
Okay.
He claimed that the Anunnaki did this in order to do chores that the gods didn't really want to do themselves. That these aliens, basically, most of it was mining. They were mining for gold to save Nibiru's atmosphere. So what happened is, eventually, these gods started having sex with the female humans that they were created, and they started creating these powerful Nephilim, which were giants that lived on Earth.
Okay.
Yeah, so these Nephilim, or giants, are also spread across many different oral histories, written histories. Obviously, Christianity is one of them.
Yeah.
Nephilim come from the hybridization of an angel having sex with a human. They are the heroes of legend, and they were the first kings in the bloodline that supposedly continues to this day.
See, I actually heard they speculate that David and Goliath is a story of a human versus a reptilian, right?
Well, a Nephilim.
Yeah, Nephilim. Yeah.
Yeah, so David or Goliath could possibly be a Nephilim. Also, there are some new interpretations of his height that could put him at more like 6'8". So he might have just been a pretty tall guy.
So he's like Adam, my co-host from the other show. He's like Adam, the co-host from the other show.
Oh, yeah. Yep. He's just an above average tall person.
Right.
But so the reptilian, about the Anunnaki, the reptilian theory and the Anunnaki theory, they're not exactly one and the same. There's some people believe that the Anunnaki were reptilian, but there's only a few depictions of the Anunnaki that makes them look like they're either bird-like or reptilian-like. Most of them just feature them as very, very tall human-looking people.
Okay.
A race of aliens that are just extremely tall.
Okay. All right.
So some more history. We talked about the underground. Now I'm going to go into a little bit about the underground reptilians.
Okay.
The Hopi people of Arizona, they have a legend that an underground society of snake people once gave them shelter during a storm of falling stars. And these snake people are believed to have come from the star gods who traveled here from outer space. So they're believed to have been planted on the Earth.
Okay. I think I've actually heard this before because their cave drawings and stuff depict this, correct?
Yes. Yep. They do have cave paintings. They have oral histories. A lot of different tribes in the region have some kind of myth like this with some kind of reptilian or snake-like god basically giving them aid during a time of need. This area is also obviously hotbed for UFO activity.
Right.
The American Southwest.
Right.
You have Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico areas. So
Right. So it seems weird. Okay, let's theoretically say the natives here, they were saved by the reptilians. Wouldn't that kind of go against what we believe that the reptilians want to either kill humans or eat them or control them?
You see, from what I've gathered, you can't really put a mark on whether these reptilians, you can't say they're all evil or they're all good.
Right.
So some of them have evil intentions, just like humans. Some of them have evil intentions. Some of them have good intentions. Some of them just live their lives like regular Joes. You know, they probably have a job that they hate. They're probably fucking a girl that they can't stand. I mean, just like us. They're just,
Yeah. So
living their life.
Now, Phil, if we're to believe that they're intertwined with the government and everything, is there possibly a base or something that they would hide out at?
Yeah, that's actually part of the conspiracy for the American Southwest alien underground. So there's one base, the most famous, most likely, is Dulce Base. And it's the subject of a very popular conspiracy theory for the Dulce Wars.
I've heard
now,
of this.
the Dulce... What's that?
I said I've definitely heard of this, and it's awesome.
Yeah, it's a great story. If you ever want to kill about an hour watching YouTube videos, it's pretty good. But so the Dulce Base is an underground facility on the Colorado-New Mexico border near the town of Dulce, New Mexico, in the United States. And there's been claims that many different alien species, including the Greys and the Reptilians, run experiments in many of the deep underground levels of the Dulce Base. Now, this conspiracy has existed since 1975, when claims of alien activity first arose from Albuquerque businessman Paul Benowitz. Now, Paul Benowitz claimed that he was picking up secret messages from alien spacecraft and eventually found the hidden base in Dulce.
Oh, okay.
Now, these aliens supposedly run a freak show of experiments on abducted humans in many genetic dissecting. Just imagine just the worst thing a human imagination can conjure up, and it is down in this Dulce Base.
Okay.
I'm talking like back to tanks filled with human remains or humans that are disfigured and still living in these tanks. Just, it's a freak show. There's been many supposed fights in the Dulce Base. Alien scientists fighting with human scientists. So one of these big fights was actually reported that the alien scientists, one of the Greys, ordered human security guards to take the bullets out of their guns. When one of the human security guards asked why, it offended the alien Grey, and he decided to make an example of the human and opened fire on that human.
Whoa.
All of his colleagues also opened fire. Supposedly dozens of humans died, and one alien died in this fight.
So this turned into the fucking scene from the Boondock Saints.
Oh, it was a bloodbath. Yeah. They had very advanced weapons that would, if they didn't kill you, it would disfigure you for life.
Oof. Okay. See, I thought you were going to say, like, their arguments were the humans were betting on the Arizona Cardinals and the aliens were Cowboys fans and they were betting on the game or something like that. But it's a lot more extreme than that.
Yeah, if they were Cowboy fans, that would explain why they shoot first. But yeah, there's also been other fights. Supposedly the human scientists went deep underground to find out what the alien scientists were doing. And this caused one of the biggest fights. Once the human scientists found out the true horrors of the underground levels.
So what'd they find out?
They basically found humans being dissected, abducted humans who were kidnapped by these aliens, just in all manner of experimentation, human-alien hybrids.
Okay. Now these are like gray aliens, right? Not reptilians?
Well, that's the thing. Supposedly there's a mix. It's not just gray aliens. So, there's many alien species believed to exist out there that visit Earth. So they're saying that these bases underground house many different alien species.
See, that's what I heard. Like they have, if we want to believe the different types of aliens, they have the reptilians, they have the Nords, they have the, I think the Pleiadians are what they technically call the Greys. And I don't know, all the other fucking weird names.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's, the Nordics. There's the ones that look like praying mantis, the insectoids. There's reptilians, obviously, Greys, the tall whites. The tall whites are really big in the American Southwest, apparently.
I think those are what they call the Nords.
Oh, the Nords are the tall whites?
I believe so, yeah. They look like fucking Father Time, I guess.
Yeah, supposedly they live for 500 years, and when they get to about 400... Well, they're very tall even before they turn like 300, 400 years old. But after they turn, it's something like 300 years old, they start to become like 9 to 10 feet tall. They just grow exponentially.
So that's
and
like
they
when
need help walking around.
So that's when they like hit puberty, basically?
Yeah, that's when they hit like middle to old age.
Okay.
That's when they start growing exponentially. But
okay.
That's kind of a sign that they're going to die soon, which soon would be the next century. So
do you think they have to be put in rest homes too?
possibly. I mean, who knows?
Can you imagine a rest home full of like really old aliens just bickering and having to play backgammon?
Just bitching that they don't understand the new technology.
What'd you say, quick Colker? Anyway.
They're still using cell phones when everyone else is using fucking telepathy.
My grandkids are ungrateful bastards. I've been cutting up humans my whole life, and that son of a bitch won't even abduct a single adult male.
He can't even turn in a cow inside out right. I don't understand that, boy. Yeah, but so for the Dulce base, it's basically the theory is that there's a bunch of bases underground in the American Southwest and northern Mexico, and underground tunnels with bullet trains connect all of these underground bases. So supposedly under my feet here in Phoenix, there's some kind of bullet train that goes back and forth, and it's a pretty crazy theory.
Well, you know what? I can believe this because from what I've heard in New Mexico, that would be about the most exciting thing, is a human torture lab, I guess. I don't know. Human meat factory.
Yeah, definitely meth, then skiing, then human torture in New Mexico. Because I lived there for a year and a half, and whoo boy, it was bad. So finally, what I'm going to round out this little discussion is reptilians in popular culture. As you know, I'm a pretty big, I like Star Wars and Star Trek. Pretty big Star Trek fan, though. So in pop culture, for Star Trek, there's a couple different species of reptilians. One's the Gorn, which is the famous reptilian. It's a meme right now with Captain Kirk fighting that reptilian alien. Everyone makes fun of.
What does he say? Is it like Ook Rock Shawl or something? Is that the guy you're talking about?
I'm not sure exactly. All I've seen is just that little clip of him fighting this slow moving reptilian alien in like a desert scene.
Okay, I'm gonna complain about Star Trek real quick. So I like Star Trek, but I haven't been I'm not a Trekkie, I didn't dive in super far. But I'm sorry, Gene Roddenberry, all you do is make aliens and put little vaginas on their face and call them a different species. Have you ever noticed that?
Yeah, so the old Star Trek, a lot of the Trekkie, I'm not a Trekkie. I just like to watch TV shows like sci-fi. I like to write and read and watch sci-fi. So a lot of the old Star Trek, the Trekkies say was better. Honestly, I don't really see it. It just looks like humans who had like little bits of paint or.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the Trekkies try to claim that, oh no, the reason why the Klingons just looked like humans was because it was a different race of Klingons. No, dude, it's because they didn't have a lot of money for makeup, so they just fucking made them look like dudes with long hair and big eyebrows. That's it.
The original Star Trek every episode had about the same plot. They go somewhere. Captain Kirk takes his shirt off at some point. There's a hot chick there that really wants to bang Captain Kirk. Then Captain Kirk gets in a fight with an alien. Then Captain Kirk says, "Take off without me. Don't worry about me. I'll save you. You guys get out of here." And then they end up saving him, and he gets the chick.
Yeah, and she's always like a green chick or a blue chick, but she most definitely has a vagina. It's never imagine if there was an episode where they kind of shot over her shoulders and he looked down and then just looked freaked out and ran out the room.
He's a big dog. Hey, maybe that's what he's into.
That could be what he's into.
That's not kink shame. If you like blue or green girls or guys, you go for it.
So, also, just another one really quick. Very popular miniseries back in the 1980s was a series called V.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, this was a race of alien reptilians who had horns, who wore makeup and contacts to look like humanoids. They claimed to be benevolent and just wanted resources in exchange for technology, but in reality, they were there to take over the world and destroy society. They targeted media officials, they targeted journalists. Basically, kind of like, it's almost like if it was a conspiracy, a peek into what the reptilians are actually doing.
Okay. But, okay, I see what you're saying. I've never actually watched that show or the remake of it. Have you?
Yeah, I watched the remake, and I gotta say it was pretty fucking terrible. But if they would have, I thought of this today while I was writing this little part. If they would have had the remake on HBO, it would have been fucking outstanding. With all of the sex and violence they could have had on HBO compared to ABC, I would watch that. I think it would be very popular.
Hey, I'll tell you what, if Cinemax did a reptilian softcore porn, I'd totally watch it.
Oh, yeah. I bet that would be really big in the kink market with Pornhub. Reptilian human hybrid.
Dominate me, my reptilian master.
There's some pretty weird fucking, that hentai porn. I bet there's some of that on there.
There's some reptilian shit in there. Okay, so let's get back to the point here. So basically what you're saying is the reptilians have been mentioned in popular culture like Star Trek or V, and maybe they got the idea from a real reptilian story.
Yes, from either what's really going on or, they could be parodying like what might be going on. Really the biggest one, and I think this is probably the most influential movie of the 1990s. And I just from saying that, you're probably going to guess what it is. But do you have any guesses so far?
Well, I was going to say Men in Black. Or Independence Day.
Way more influential. I'm talking top tier 1990s sci-fi. Super Mario Bros. The movie.
Oh, okay. Ugh. The worst Goombas ever. All right.
Yes. It was definitely a decade-defining movie.
Ugh.
But
I watched that several times when I was younger, and that movie is fucking god-awful.
Let me just say, that was probably the only movie that my family ever brought back to Movies America on time. The first day it was due back, we had it there. Just threw it at them. So Super Mario Bros. Basically, if you don't know the story, it's not worth watching. There's a parallel universe where dinosaurs never became extinct, and there's a little girl who's hatched, and she becomes the princess, and she's adopted by an Earth family, and it's fucking terrible. It's just my brother came up with it today. It's pretty funny. But.
You know what? This will be a subliminal deception approved message. If you maybe get with your bros or broettes, smoke a little weed or get drunk and watch the movie together, might not be quite as bad, because then you can kind of make fun of it while you're watching it. But if you're watching it by yourself because you like Super Mario Brothers, it's terrible and offensive to Italians.
Yeah, it's offensive to pretty much anyone who watches movies. But I'm going to say really quick, that is all I've got today on the reptilian conspiracy. There was a lot on the internet, a lot to sift through, but I did try to condense it into a good narrative. So I hope you guys liked it.
I think you did a stellar job. People got to remember that the world of reptilians is a super fucking tangled mess, and it's impossible to get to the bottom of it. And I don't really even know what to make. Like, okay, closing thoughts. What is in your heart of hearts? What do you believe in this?
I would say pretty low. I mean, do I believe that there could be a race of reptilians out there controlling the world? Possibly. I mean, do I think that these actors, actresses, and world leaders are reptilians? No, I don't. I mean, it's a fun thought. It's a fun theory, but no.
I think that's the thing. It's fun. You know what? It's just a fun... I'll be completely honest. I didn't even hear about the reptilians till maybe like a year or two ago. And that was because I was lost on YouTube. And it started out with like those phasing pictures of Barack Obama turning into a reptilian. And then I'm like, okay, this guy's just clearly a conservative who hates Barack Obama. And then you dig deep and it's like, oh, wow, it's like everybody people don't like. They have to be a reptilian. They can't just be someone I don't like. They have to be an evil menace taking over the world.
Yep, and that also falls in line right with if you've ever heard like the Antichrist. Like the Antichrist is never your guy. It's always the person who's fucking up your world.
Right.
You know?
Right. The Antichrist would never be against you. Everybody knows that. Come on.
Oh yeah.
Quick closing thing here. Did you happen to see any of the reptilians' names? I've heard some of them before. Did you see any of them?
Ooh, there was a lot of the names of the kings from the Anunnaki and the supposed dragon kings from Japan. I didn't go into Japan because that was a huge. There was so much there. I mean, you could do your own
episode
podcast
on it.
But.
Right. Well, what I remember, if you guys are curious, their names that I remember seeing is basically you put a name with like 14 S's in it, and then that's their name. They're always
like a snake's trying to say it.
Exactly. That's how I've always heard them. It'd be like Phil, like that's their name. Not very original, guys.
So here's the thing about, you were talking about like there's a lot of different like theories. So say that the poll is true and there's 12 million people who believe in reptilians. That means that there's 12 million theories on where these reptilians are coming from, what their intentions are. It's just so scattered. There's there's no one belief system out there. It's just everyone has their own little fucking pube in the fucking pie and just, you know.
Yeah.
It's just out there.
I think I'm along the lines with you. I personally believe in aliens, and maybe there's a species of aliens that looks like a reptile, maybe, but I don't. I feel like if they've infiltrated every person of power in the world, it might be a bit of a stretch.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good point. They would have to be someone opposing them.
I think we just have to realize that if people are evil, they don't have to be a reptilian. Humans can be evil by themselves without having to be some mystical creature from the bowels of Earth.
Yeah, assholes and pieces of shit are born every day.
Right.
Yeah, it's just...
Right. We got to remember that. But like I said, we're kind of cynics when it comes to this fairy tale-esque stuff. So, but again, Phil, you did a beautiful job. We've been running for quite a while now. I suppose we should get out of here. Now, Phil, is there any prudent information our fans should know?
Well, first of all, we'd love to hear from you guys. If you guys want to send us an email, ask us a question, maybe tell us how your Weed Party Super Mario Bros. Viewing party went. Our email is subliminaldpodcast@gmail.com.
Or as I said, yeah, go ahead and send us an email. We'd love to hear from you.
And our Instagram, if you guys would like to join the sensation of Subliminal Deception Conspiracy Theory Podcast, it is Subliminal Deception Podcast on Instagram.
Yep, go ahead and give us a follow, and we'll keep you updated when we drop new episodes and all of that. All right, now the final thing we're going to ask all you anti-reptilians out there is to leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. If you could write something, that'd be great. You don't have to, doesn't matter. You could say your name as a reptilian, like Barbara. Put that in there. I'd love to see that too. So go ahead and do that for us. Help us grow. Help us continue on the journey to find the truth. And that is going to do it for me. Phil, is that going to do it for you?
Yep, that's all I got.
All right, until next week, guys. See you then.
All right, thanks, guys.